Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 4 emulation with Shad PS4, and Shad PS4 just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Shad PS4 version 0.7.0, codename Frobo, is the latest release. And they say here another exciting release coming from the Shad PS4 team, a lot of new features, FSR HDR, and a lot of fix-ups in this new release. It is really a special day for me since it is my birthday as well, and 24 years after the first PCSX2 release. So happy birthday to, I'm pretty sure it's George Morales. So on top of adding in HDR and FSR support, which is pretty big on its own, there's a bunch of fixes, new features, and improvements. They've added in keyboard and mouse input remapping. They've improved compatibility with older CPUs, and they've improved compatibility with Unity games. I would say this is a pretty big release of Shad PS4. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Azahar. Now, every single time I talk about Azahar, people ask me about the pronunciation of it, specifically my pronunciation of it. Some people wonder if I can't pronounce the Z, as in Azahar. I can. Some people wonder if it's my Canadian accent, and I didn't even realize I had a Canadian accent. And Azahar really isn't a thing in Canada. And some people wonder if I just don't know how to say it. Well, this is right from Azahar's Twitter account, and they say it's pronounced Azahar. And let me know what you think about that one. That's why I call it Azahar. So anyways, we talked about Azahar yesterday with their first stable release, and since then we've got an update. At the time of filming, Azahar 2120.1 is the latest update, and this one has some fixes for that stable release. Based on the notes, it does seem that Android had the biggest problem, so they fixed an issue which could cause CIA installation to freeze indefinitely. And for all versions, it seems they fixed CTGP 7 that was booting a little bit slower. And speaking about Nintendo 3DS emulation, next up here we're talking about a new Nintendo 3DS emulator called Cytrus. I think that's how it's meant to be pronounced. Anyways, this one is being developed by Antique, who is the same person behind Sudachi. Anyways, here there's a brand new release at the time of filming, and it's version 1.0.1. Based on what I can see, this emulator is built on Citra, and this is the only release, so I'm guessing that version 1.0.1 is their first release of this one. Not gonna lie here, I'm kind of surprised to see this one given the fact that the developer is involved with so many projects, and this is yet another one. I don't know how they spend time between all of these and are able to work on all of them in tandem. It just seems that it's quite a bit for one person. And speaking about quite a bit for one person, there's the tie-in. Next up, we're talking about, the SuperSEGA. And Slope's Game Room here has done some investigation and found some very interesting information. Now, Slope's Game Room was one of the, I would say, unfortunate people who decided to pre-order this system and were charged the full amount and then were having trouble getting a refund. Now, I could be wrong with all of that, but I don't think I am. And there's a 2-hour documentary here that may be worth checking out if you're interested in this whole entire SuperSEGA saga. It's just, it's interesting. It's a red flag in a sea of red flags for this project. I think I've said that before, a sea of red flags. I think I even said like a planet or universe of red flags. It's just, this initiative to me is, it's been a ride. I recommend giving this video a watch because the investigative work they've done here is, it's very informative to me and also very wild. It seems as if SuperSEGA may have sold a lot less of these consoles than they have claimed and made a lot less money than they have claimed. And in terms of the chargebacks, it seems that a lot of people who have pre-ordered this may have done chargebacks to get their money back. To me, this is, it's just wild. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, this all kind of makes sense and, is par for a very weird course. So it seems as if they haven't made the pre-orders that they said. They didn't make the money that they have said, and the project itself was never as big as what they said or what they claimed. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you've watched this video, which I do recommend giving a watch, let me know your thoughts about the entire situation. Let me know your thoughts about the SuperSEGA project, and was it really tiny, or do you think it was as big as they were claiming? And let me know your thoughts about the investigative work of Slope's Game Room. Do you think Slope's Game Room hit it out of the park? Do you think Slope's Game Room cracked this wide open and basically solved it? And what do you think is going to happen next for SuperSEGA? I think Slope's Game Room hit this one on the head, and I think the project was a lot smaller than it was ever claimed to be. And I think this project is, well, it's just DOA. It was tiny to begin with, not a lot of people invested in it, and it's just going to go away. I could be wrong about that. There just seems to be a whole lot of theatrics behind the whole thing, which I guess makes sense as well, given the fact that the person behind the SuperSEGA project is, well, they're into TV and stuff. And speaking about theatrics, next up here, we're talking about big rigs over-the-road racing, which has been regarded by a bunch of people as one of the worst games of all time, possibly worse than Superman 64. Anyways, this game has appeared on Steam, and, well, a lot of people are wondering why. If you are curious about this game, I do recommend checking out a video from Angry Video Game Nerd, and like everything we talk about, link is in the description below at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. To say this game is a little rough around the edges, maybe understating it altogether. To me, the game seems like a hot mess. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things about this game that don't make sense. There's no speed limiter if you're reversing. You can accelerate indefinitely. This game is, if you've never played it, this game is something else altogether. I do recommend checking the game out if you haven't before. But the fact that it's just appearing on PC and it doesn't seem to be a polished version of the game, I just don't know what's going on here. Initially, when that game popped up on Steam, there were some people saying that it was a bogus listing. This person says, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but apparently that new listing of big rigs on Steam is completely bogus. Searching for the publisher Margaret Entertainment, not Game Mill, only brings up said Steam listing. A header is stolen from SteamGridDB, and the client icon appears to be AI generated. However, Marguerite Entertainment, the company behind this one, has posted an announcement over on Steam. And they say, we truly appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. In response to the concerns, we would like to clarify that Marguerite Entertainment has obtained the rights to a few classic titles, including big rigs over-the-road racing worldwide, and they will be released on Steam. I'm not going to lie here, I am very curious to find out how much they paid for the rights to big rigs over-the-road racing, and whether or not they're banking on this turning into a meme game where people are buying it just to try it out and maybe buying it for friends to torture them. I don't know here. This is wild to me, and this kind of looks like the footage from Angry Video Game Nerd's video. Anyways, here, let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. It just seems that this is, well, this is definitely something. On a side note here, if you were curious about how this game was rated, over on Metacritic, it's got a whopping rating of 8 out of 100 with an overwhelmingly dislike rating. I don't know here. I think this is fake, but who knows? Maybe it turns out to be real. Next up here, we're talking about God of War, and there's been some recent rumors and discussion surrounding this game series that point to possibly a brand new side story project, and it will be the Greek God of War. Now, I would say take these rumors with a grain of salt. It may be something, it may be nothing, but sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. And in terms of when we're going to find out more, I wouldn't hold my breath just yet. Grubbs says, I was never told about a remaster collection, but I asked a source about the rumors, and they told me that nothing God of War would happen at the state of play, but something could show up at the anniversary. Next up, we're quickly shifting from gaming to ebooks and talking about open source ebook manager Calibre. And Calibre just got a brand new update to version 8.0.1. So with this brand new update, there's a bunch of bug fixes here, some improved news sources. I don't see Mr. Sujano here, but this is video as opposed to written. Anyways, on top of that, there's some new features like much improved Kobo support. You can now natively edit, view, and convert KEPUB. And on top of that, it now also automatically converts EPUB to KEPUB, which I think is pretty cool. And speaking about pretty cool, next up here, we're talking about game preservation and Until Dawn on the PlayStation 3. There's a brand new prototype for this game dated January 2013, and there's a full playthrough available over on YouTube. The video is almost 4 hours long, 9 seconds shy. Now, I have never seen this specific prototype on the PS3 just yet, well, until now. And I'm wondering here why Sony never released this for the PlayStation 3 and instead made it a PS4 exclusive. I guess it makes sense given the fact that this was close to the end of the PS3's life cycle. But at the same time here, it seems to be running very well on the PS3. And I'm assuming that this version will be dumped and available online somewhere at some point. Next up, we're talking about some 3DS utilities with God Mode 9. They say here that God Mode 9 is a full-access file browser for the Nintendo 3DS console, giving you access to your SD card, to the FAT partitions inside your SysNAND and EmuNAND, and to basically anything else. Among other functionality, you can copy, delete, and rename files and create folders. And God Mode 9 just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, God Mode 9 version 2.2.0 9th anniversary release is the latest update. And they do say it's a pre-release, so there may be bugs and issues with it. As for what's new, it says translation support, Lua scripting support, or LUA, or subscribe to Mr. Sujano, depending on how you wanted to pronounce that. A shiny new anniversary splash logo, and numerous bug fixes and small improvements. Next up, we're talking about ARK and their highly controversial Aquatica trailer that seemed to have been entirely generated by AI. When that trailer dropped, we covered it on this YouTube channel, and we took a look at the comments of that trailer, and it seemed to have been very poorly received. I don't think I saw one positive comment. Anyways, here it appears that the developers didn't even know that they were going to do this. Based on the Game Rant article here, it appears that the team behind ARK Aquatica are, well, they're doing some damage control to assure fans that the game isn't using AI for development. And that may be too little, too late. I mean, that trailer seems to have been very damaging for that game. Interestingly, the trailer is still up on YouTube. They haven't taken it down yet, and I think the longer it's up, the more controversy it's going to create. Maybe this will be good press overall for the game. Maybe it won't be. But either way here, I would say this initial look is not good along with this initial response. I mean, again, scrolling down at the comments on this video, and the ones we've looked at before are still there with even more likes, and there seem to be even more negative comments. This person says right here, how do I delete someone else's video off the internet? And there's a bit of ARK in your AI. On top of that, this person says, you know, it's really bad when comments have more likes than the video. And this comment has 3.5 thousand likes. And scrolling up to the video here, which has over 400,000 views. And, well, there's 1.4 thousand likes. If you've got a plugin, you can probably see the dislikes, which are probably huge. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Did this trailer turn you off of the game, or do you even care? Are you still interested in the game despite the AI trailer? I would say here this was in very poor taste given the fact that AI is very controversial right now in gaming overall. And going flat out with an all-AI trailer doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It just seems that they didn't even know what was going on. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. She's in our box again watching the birds, and well, I'll include some footage of that in the outro. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state, and I'll see you tomorrow.